What? Oh, sorry, you caught me on vacation. No, just kidding. I'm gonna get rid of that. No, not that one. This one. Goodbye, beach. Hello, everyone. So today I thought I would show you something that a lot of people have been asking me about. There's actually people are asking me about a lot of things around TypeScript due to my recent conversion. Yeah, so I thought I'd just show you some things, something specific, and that is TypeScript with ESLint. So I have this question on my AMA, which, by the way, I do a daily podcast, week daily podcast, where I answer a question on my from my AMA. Started that yesterday, and it looks like people are downloading it, so that's fun. So yeah, so you can ask me a question. You can subscribe to the RSS feed of 3 Minutes with Kent and hear every day an answer to a question. But this is one where I like a really good question that I don't think that I could answer very well in podcast form. And I am going to write a blog post about TypeScript and why I'm doing TypeScript, and I'll probably talk about ESLint. And it'll be nice to reference this video when I do that. So yeah, so here is, well, I'll first talk about the reason. At PayPal, we have a bunch of custom rules that are specific to our infrastructure. So internationalization, we have rules to make sure that you're using our internationalization stuff properly. And it's kind of hard to handle some of those things with types. I think we're going to find that there are a lot of things that TypeScript makes kind of irrelevant. As I was preparing this video, I was like, oh yeah, this rule, TypeScript probably can't catch that, but it did. So yeah, there are a couple of things. Console use is something that I guess we could disallow in using TypeScript. So yeah, there are a lot of different things that TypeScript is capable of, but we do have some custom rules that I don't think that we'll be able to make work with TypeScript. Other people say, well, formatting is something you can use ESLint for. I so disagree. I don't think I should never see a red line for something that is just a formatting issue. That bothers me a lot. So we just use prettier. So the one rule that I am going to enable in this project is right here. If you can't spot the bug, that's fine. But what's happening here is because I'm not using semicolons, because I don't use semicolons, because there are lots of rules of when you should and shouldn't, and it's a lot easier just to say no, and I'm not going to argue about this. If you want to learn about it, semicolons, you can go read my arguments there. So the fact is I'm not using semicolons, and this is the only situation where not using semicolons can be dangerous. What actually is going to happen here is we're going to try and select the element at position index 1 from whatever's returned from console log, which of course is nothing. So this is going to be a runtime error. TypeScript is not catching this for us, which is unfortunate. So actually what's interesting is TypeScript does kind of give you an idea that this could be a problem, because typically, here actually let's, yeah, typically if you were using semicolons, then TypeScript would be like, oh yeah, this is going to be a number because I know that. But if you aren't using semicolons, then TypeScript notices that, hey, you're accessing index 1 property off of what's returned from console log. I don't know what that's going to be, which seems like a bug in TypeScript. It should know that console log returns null or is undefined, but and so this actually should probably be an error. But yeah, so it's saying, hey, I don't know what that's going to be. And so we can get around that by saying number, or we can get around it by using semicolons, or we can get around it by doing what I would do, and that is give this a name 1, and then using that variable name. I think that's the right way to solve this problem, not semicolons. So anyway, whether you like semicolons or not is not super relevant for this video. What is relevant is you have rules that you want to enable that are ESLint rules that you want to enable for this project. ESLint has a huge ecosystem, lots of really nice things, and so yeah, we're gonna configure ESLint for this project that with TypeScript. That's the whole thing. Okay, so what do we need for this to work? I'm going to go ahead and I've already installed ESLint, and spoiler alert to this project. This is actually not a long-term solution. I'll explain that in a bit. But we got ESLint here. So now I am going to add a ESLint rc.js file. We'll module exports this. And then there are a couple of things that we're going to need. So we'll say parser options. And we want the ECMA version to be 2018. And the what is it? Source or ECMA version. Source type. There we go. And if somebody's going to ask me, this is Alfred. I'm using the snippets feature from the Power Pack. It's awesome. I recommend that you purchase it because it's really great. So yeah, source type is module because we're using modules here. And yeah, and then we need to make it so that ESLint can deal with these files. So in my editor, I can configure my editor to pick up TypeScript files. So I'm going to go to my settings here, and here you have ESLint validate. I'm going to have it validate TypeScript and TypeScript React as well with a T. So now what I'm going to get is a parsing error. I don't know if there's a way to have, so like if you don't have an ESLint RC and you do what I just did, then you're going to get a parsing error in every TypeScript file because we don't have an ESLint RC that's telling ESLint how to parse these TypeScript files. That's kind of annoying. And I don't think that there's a way in the VS Code extension to say, hey, only enable ESLint when there's an ESLint configuration. If somebody does know, then feel free to stick some info in the comments because that would be useful. But yeah, so we're getting a parsing error, and that is because ESLint is not capable of parsing TypeScript files. These type definitions, just not something that ESLint is capable of. So if I run npx ESLint source example, then I'm going to get that parsing error there as well. So how do we fix this? Well, there are actually a couple ways to fix this. There's a TypeScript, here, let's see, it's ESLint TypeScript, TypeScript ESLint parser. But from what I've heard, this has some problems and doesn't work super great. In addition to that, I actually want to, like, when I use TypeScript, I'm using it with Babel, and that's another video where I'll explain how and why and whatever. But I want to be able to use the Babel parser for this. Like Babel is able to parse TypeScript when you have the right preset, and so I just use Babel parser for both ESLint and for building stuff. So I want to use Babel ESLint. That's what I'm using, and like I've been using that for a long time. However, it currently Babel ESLint comes with a preset of plugins. Let me show you where that is. I think it's maybe it's this one. No, parse. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, right here. Okay, so Babel, if you're not familiar, Babel uses a parser called Babylon, and that Babylon parser has plugins. And one of those plugins is TypeScript. Another one of those plugins is Flow, and these are the things that enable Babel to compile or to create an AST, an abstract syntax tree, out of your source code. So there's a JSX, there's async functions and generators and all of these things. So they just, Babel ESLint, when it was initially built, they just put all the plugins in there. The problem is that it defaults to Flow, but Flow and TypeScript plugins can't be used together, and it'll actually throw an early warning letting you know that. So right now there's an effort to, we look at the other pull requests. I think it's this one. There's an effort to read your Babel config and get the plugins to use for Babylon from your Babel config, which is the right way to do this. So that is, I'm not sure what the status of that is actually. Hopefully it, hopefully it is going to be ready soon. It looks like CI is passing, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so there's still a little bit of work to be done on that, I guess. It's been worked on for quite a while. So until that is done, I liked this this pull request as kind of a stopgap for until that's ready, but they're not going to merge it. They just want to do the real solution. So there's a fork here called pluggable Babel ESLint that implements things this way, where you can specify your custom options. And that is what we're going to do to enable TypeScript. I think by default, let's see. I'm pretty sure that by default it will, here, let me check this out actually. We'll go in to theirs, we'll go plugins. Oh yeah, read plugins from config. Yeah, there we go. If presets, so they're going to read your TypeScript configuration or your Babel configuration, and if you're including any of these, then it's going to add the TypeScript parser. So I don't have Babel configured in here, so we're going to have to add that ourselves, but that's easy enough. So anyway, we're going to use pluggable ESLint or pluggable Babel ESLint for now, until that other PR is merged and it's released and it's great. So let's go ahead and do that. I've already installed it. So what we're going to do is we'll say parser. Actually, this is a JS file. Parser is pluggable Babel ESLint. And then because we don't have Babel configured, we need to specifically say we want the TypeScript plugin. So we'll do that. And oh, that's right. I don't have formatting turned on because if I did, then it would fix this problem. This is why you use prettier. Okay. Anyway, yeah, now we've got that all sorted out, and you'll notice that the we're good with parsing. ESLint isn't sad at us anymore. So if I run this again, then everything passes. And the reason is we don't have any rules configured. So let's go ahead and we'll say rules, and we'll have the rule. Now I can't remember rules. Oh, you know what? I didn't just here. Yeah, that's the one. No unexpected multiline. Okay, sweet. So now we are getting an ESLint error. Hey, unexpected new line between object and the property access. So with this one rule, you can feel safe using not using semicolons, because it'll tell you all the like 3 places where it would be not good to use a new line, because automatic semicolon insertion will blow up in your face. So that's, yeah, anyway, so great. And our TypeScript still works. And ESLint is great. So I'll just review and then I'll answer any questions that you have in the comments here. So for right now, we're using pluggable Babel ESLint. Before too long, you can just use Babel ESLint. You'll need to make sure you have Babel configured in the project so Babel can look it up, look up your configuration. But with that, then with pluggable Babel ESLint, we're going to specify our parser options. We wouldn't typically have to specify the plugins because it would read our Babel config. But yeah, then everything else is just like hunky-dory. You do whatever else you want to with ESLint. That's pretty much all there is to it. You install the pluggable Babel ESLint plugin or parser, and then you use that as your parser, and that works. I also configured my editor to ESLint validate TypeScript and TypeScript React, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. Okay, let me answer any questions that people have. So Rook here is saying, hey, how are the lights working? Good. Here, let's see. So up here, I've got a light on the ceiling and another one. And then down here, where's it? I've got a light on the floor, and it's on a box, and another light on the floor. I need to figure out more permanent solution. They also have, I don't know if you can see it, but well, anyway, they have parchment paper on them because they're too bright. So there's that. I need to figure out, well, it's not that they're too bright, it's that they are too direct light. And so we get like this spot on the green screen that's brighter than the rest. So I need to figure out a good way to kind of spread out that light a little bit. Yeah, I guess that's why the photographers have those umbrella things so that the light can be more flat. If you have tips on that, I'd be more than welcome to hear that. Okay, why using ESLint instead of TSLint? I explained that we have a bunch of ESLint rules that we really like, and TSLint also I started using it, and it was really weird. I honestly don't know what the problem is. One thing that just occurred to me is our if we just run ESLint straight up without any other options, we just say, hey, ESLint this whole thing, then it's gonna be like, oh, well, there aren't any JavaScript files, and so that's not good. I can't remember. I think there is an extensions. Yeah, ext. So we'll say ext.js.ts.tsx. I think that'll work. Oh, we need a comma there. Pretty sure that'll work. And we can run the linting again, make sure. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's one other thing that you want to make sure that you do, is that when you run ESLint, you make sure that it picks up the right extensions. Glad that exists. Okay, let's see. Somebody wants me to look at a React boilerplate. Yeah, okay, so here's my feeling on boilerplates. If it's your boilerplate and you like it, then that's great. I will not ever use a boilerplate that I didn't create myself. I think actually on my 3-minute podcast, I have an episode where I explain and talk about that a little bit. You can go look that up. Okay, so Mike is saying, yeah, if there are other advantages to ESLint over TSLint, it's mostly community size and the existing plugins and things. I also maybe I'll switch over to TSLint eventually, but I'm just so hesitant to give up my existing community and knowledge and stuff, so there could be inertia there. I don't know. Don't do what I tell you to do. Don't listen to me. Okay, the font size is a bit small. Well, dang. Sorry about that. Here, let me update this. I'm gonna do this. So I've got my egghead configuration, my workshop configuration, and I'm going to make a copy of this, and we're gonna make live stream. And then I'm gonna just comment out this, and we'll up our font size to like 24. And the terminal font size will do like 20. And there we go. Now it's a fair amount bigger, right? Whoa. I just unzoomed it. Zoom level was 2 before. We're gonna do this. We'll do 0 as my default, and then we'll do a zoom level of 2. There we go. Hopefully that's better, and let me know if that's good for future. Oh, GitHub was too small. Oh. Well, let me restore these back to their original. I'm going to leave these as they were, though. Let's see, 22, and this will be 16. Okay, GitHub was too small. Sorry about that. Blah, 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 blah. There you go. Okay, what kinds of lights are those? LED bulbs? Yes, they are. They're great. I like them. It cost a lot of money though. Each one was like $40 or something. Yep. Should have, yeah. I guess it's worth it. I don't know. Okay, I'd hope people only use starters as examples. That's great. Okay. Off topic. Do you sync documents to desktop and folders to iCloud? No, I just use Google Drive. Okay. Okay, sweet. I'm going to jump out. I hope this was interesting and fun. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask me on my AMA, and maybe I will answer it on my podcast. And or I will answer it on this thing. I hope you have a nice day. I'm going to go back to the beach and hang out with the crabs. Goodbye. Man, okay, let's try that again. Goodbye.